Our next speaker is also no stranger to governance. Dmytro Kushneruk has worked as Presidential Administration of Ukraine for many years and is now the Consul General of Ukraine in San Francisco. He has a lot of problems and responsibilities on his plate, but despite that, he's always been responsive and approachable, and he's someone I can personally call a friend. Just like our President Zelensky, he's a new type of politician that our country, Ukraine, and the whole world really needs right now. Everyone, please welcome Dmytro Kushneruk.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, today in Ukraine is the day of reconciliation, remembrance and reconciliation, it's 8th of May. And 77 years ago, the world has said never again when commemorating all victims of the Second World War. And 77 years after, President Putin and his regime chose to invade Ukraine in this unprovoked war of aggression against a sovereign country. So his actions now bring shame on Russia and historic sacrifices of Russian people. And for decades, Russia has maintained a myth about the sole great victory and only the victory of Russian people, while threatening that they could repeat it against a newly emerging foes. And unfortunately, the tragedy has repeated. But right now, Ukraine is strong. And tomorrow, on the 9th of May, Putin will again use this date of celebration to continue his war propaganda. And who knows what new things, what new crazy things he will say. Some people are afraid he will declare full war, even though the war is already happening, or will declare a general mobilization of Russia. We don't know, but Ukrainians are not afraid, and Ukrainians are prepared for that. And on the other hand, tomorrow on the 9th of May, we'll know that President Biden will sign the Land-Lease Act, again, 77 years after the Second World War for the first time. And under it, Ukraine will be able to request and receive weapons and equipment it needs from the United States and the allies to win this war and to protect Ukrainians. So also 77 years ago, the Nazis besieged the Leningrad in the city and kept it in the siege for 872 days. And in 2022, Russian troops have besieged Mariupol and have kept as hostages thousands of people, and right now keeping hostages hundreds of civilians there on Azovstal steelworks plant. And part of them are being evacuated, but many of them still stay there. So we call on the world to do everything possible and impossible to save our brave defenders, medics, and wounded soldiers from Azovstal, from Mariupol, which are encircled by Russia. Today is also the Mother's Day, and President Zelensky has said that today is a special Mother's Day. This day is burned by war, but with hot heart, with great internal strength and heroism of Ukrainian mothers. Each of them have did everything for their children and for Ukraine. But unfortunately, we'll know that Ukraine has lost 225 children already in this war so far. But I will also want to thank the great job that Ukrainians non-profits are doing here in the Silicon Valley, in the Bay Area. We're so happy as a consulate to work with them and to have them here, because they do huge efforts and they do huge fundraising efforts, and also sending so much needed help to Ukrainians these days, and that includes humanitarian aid, medical supplies, food supplies, help for refugees, help for everyone, and body armor, all the technical things. And I will not name all of them because they will have their special presentations today, but they're doing absolutely a great job. And on the other hand, the President Zelensky has launched the United 24 platform. This is the platform where everyone can go and make donations to Ukraine directly. And we also encourage everybody to do so, and to reach your American friends to do so. They can choose where to donate for defense and demining, for medical aid, or for rebuilding Ukraine. The website u24.gov.ua. And today, the President Zelensky has been first time invited as a Ukrainian president to the G7 summit. And during this G7 summit, he again reiterated that Ukraine needs more weapons, more sanctions, and more financial support. And we want to thank Ambassador Mike Maffol for his huge work on sanctions within the international group of experts, together with the head of Presidential Office of Ukraine, Andriy Yermak. And the G7 has made a statement after this meeting today, and they have said that G7 countries will remain united in our resolve that President Putin must not win his war against Ukraine. This is very important. The all countries, are the G7 countries, and saying this openly, and they will do everything possible for that to happen. And that we owe it to the memory of those who fought for freedom in the Second World War to continue to fighting for it today, for the people of Ukraine, in Europe, and the global community. And I want to finish by the quote from our Minister Kuleba, who said that the reason why so many people in NATO countries, including politicians, admire Ukraine is very simple. It's because Ukraine is not afraid of Russia, and they are. And everyone wanted to kick Russia's ass, but they did not dare. And we have been left with no choice. And that's why Ukraine is stunned, Ukraine is strong, Ukraine will win this war. We believe in this, and we believe that we will be able to host together with President Zelensky in Stanford in the near future. So, Slava Ukraini!
We're not gonna let you go that fast. I just want to have a quick word about our consul here. So this person's been like a fellow soldier in this war. He is always there when you are at an Ukrainian event, and you know you can rely on him. And every Ukrainian person in the Bay Area just feels that our general consul is our friend, and he's always there. Yeah, so we want to thank you from the whole Ukrainian community.